This is the family genogram for the Huxtable family from the TV show, The Cosby Show. These are the genogram symbols you will see throughout this presentation. Each male is symbolized by a square, the females by a circle. A deceased individual is represented by an X through their symbol. You will see 5 marriages, 1 divorce, and 1 engagement and separation. There are 19 individuals total, 1 that is in recovery from a physical or mental illness, and 1 who has passed away from a physical or mental illness. You will also see that 2 individuals are deeply in love, and that this love is what nurtures the other family bonds. Lastly, you will see the identified patient surrounded by a larger yellow square. So this is the Huxtable family genogram. The Huxtables are an upper middle class African American family who live in a brownstone in Brooklyn Heights, New York. You can see our identified patient is Clifford Heathcliff Huxtable. Dr. Heathcliff Huxtable, known in the community as Dr. Huxtable, is a silly family man who is a loving and kind-hearted husband. He is a dedicated father with a strong sense of humor. He and his wife Claire have formed a tight-knit, loving family, but for some reason find it very difficult to successfully get their grown children to leave the comforts of their home. Family of origin. As you can see, Cliff was born in 1937 to Russell and Anna Huxtable. His father, Slide, was a prominent jazz trombonist, originally from North Carolina. As a touring musician, he moved his family to Philadelphia and later to New Jersey. Anna was a stay-at-home mother and housewife. Cliff has a younger brother who died in 1948. He was only 7 years old and he passed away from rheumatic fever. And you can see the symbol for James Huxtable. He was born 1941, passed away 1948. You can see there's also an X through his symbol with his age when he passed, which was 7. And then half of his symbol is blackened out, and that just represents that he had a physical or mental illness. Going back to Cliff. In high school and college, Cliff was an athlete who played football. He was on the wrestling team and he ran track. He was in the Navy and later went on to become an obstetrician, running his private practice from his home. Cliff went on to marry Claire Hanks. Claire was born in 1943 to Al and Carrie Hanks. Claire is a practicing attorney who is known for her relaxed confidence. She is a loving mother and wife who is elegant and engaging. Claire is also a great debater. who rarely loses an argument. Along with being playful and silly, Claire is extremely intelligent and professional. She is good at remembering facts and dates, which is a part of her artillery when she debates with her husband. One battle she just can't seem to win is getting her husband to stop eating junk food, specifically hoagie sandwiches, cake, chips, and soda. The Huxtable kids. Cliff and Claire are a couple in love, which is symbolized on the genogram by the two green lines with the circles intertwined. This love has produced their 5 children, 4 girls and 1 boy. The eldest daughter, Sandra, was born in 1964. Sandra earned her degree from Princeton University with intentions of becoming a lawyer just like her mother. After marrying Elvin Thibodeau and having their twins, Winnie and Nelson, Sandra dropped out of law school and she and Elvin opened a wilderness store. But as the first child, she was used to overachieving and making her parents proud. So eventually, she completed her degree and set the bar for her younger siblings. In the picture in the upper right corner, you can see baby Winnie and Nelson with their grandfather, Cliff. Denise is the second child and daughter of Cliff and Claire. She was born in 1968. As a true second child, Denise chose to march to the beat of her own drum. Denise was popular in high school, especially with the boys. She has a love for fashion and music, but is often clueless about any other subject. Denise attended Hillman College, the same college where her parents met while they were attending. Denise drops out of Hillman after 2 years because college was just not for her. She decided to go to Africa as a photographer's assistant, where she meets and marries Navy Lieutenant Martin Kendall. Martin has a daughter, Olivia, from a previous marriage to Paula Kendall, and you can see the red line with the 2 slashes in it. They represent the divorce between Martin and Kendall. And then you have Olivia, who was born in 1985. Olivia is a precious little girl, but she is about no nonsense, and she often gives Cliff a run for his money. So Denise goes on to pursue a degree in special education at Medgar Evers College. But that doesn't work out for her either. Instead, she and Martin head to Singapore for an assignment from the Navy. Theo is the family's middle child and only son. Like his father, Theo is athletic, but a little too obsessed with impressing the girls. Throughout his high school years, Theo constantly finds ways to get himself into trouble with his parents, sisters, girlfriends, and teachers. Theo goes on to attend college at New York University, where he discovers he has suffered with dyslexia for years. Dyslexia is a learning disability. He becomes inspired to work harder in order to overcome the disorder. And you can see on the genogram under Theo, who was born in 1970, he has a little black, looks like steps in his square. And that just represents that he has recovered from a physical or mental illness. So Theo goes on to become a teacher, and he helps other children with dyslexia at a local education center. He goes on to receive his degree in psychology from NYU. Vanessa is the fourth child and third daughter of Cliff and Claire. Vanessa is born in 1973. Unlike her older brother, Vanessa did great in school and even attended college 1 year early. In high school, she did suffer several heartbreaks and typical teenage problems. Vanessa attended college at Lincoln University, where she met her fiance, Dabnus Brickney. Dabnus was the head of the maintenance department at Lincoln. He was also several years Vanessa's senior. The middle picture shows the moment when Vanessa introduces Dabnus and they announce their engagement, and Cliff and Claire aren't too happy about that. Vanessa eventually decides that she does not want to be married and she breaks off the engagement. And that is represented on the genogram by the blue dash line with the slash in between it that shows the engagement and separation. Rudy is the youngest Huxtable child. Rudy is born in 1978. Rudy is the cutest little girl who often has friends over to the family's brownstone. During Vanessa's younger years, there was a lot of sibling rivalry between she and Rudy, and it was often initiated by Vanessa, which is indicated by the red line with the arrow at the end and the diamond in the middle, showing that there was some conflict between the two initiated by Vanessa. But Rudy was not always innocent. She often would get Vanessa, Theo, and her father Cliff into trouble with their mother Claire. And Claire often babied Rudy as she was her youngest child. Now, cousin Pam later came to live with the Huxtables after her mother moved to California to take care of her grandmother. Cousin Pam is a distant cousin of Claire, who became the caregiver of Pam, which is indicated by the green line with the two arrows at the end pointed to Pam. And in the picture, Pam is the one sitting, I guess, the second from the left of the picture. She's the one sitting with the brown scarf on her head. So Pam had some adjustment issues when she first moved into the upper middle class tight-knit family, but she soon became part of the family. And this is a more recent picture of the Huxtable clan, or at least some of them. So there you have it, folks, the Huxtable family 4-generation genogram.